This is EA Sports coverage of the PGA Tour. What really sets Quail Hollow apart here at the Wells Fargo Championship, the brutal finishing stretch. They call it the Green Mile, and we are excited to bring you all of the tournament action. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo for EA Sports, back at Quail Hollow, getting set to kick off the backside. And the 10th is a good par 5, Frank.
It certainly is. Hole bends a little to the left. There's the bunkering down that left side that you've got to keep slightly right of. Second shot plays ever so slightly downhill to a rather narrow green, and if anything, you want to favour that left side.
Frank, that is position A.
Yeah, the tee shot was like silk, Rich. I mean, just sets up that second shot so beautifully. Second shot.
He's making the game look very simple right now. See it, hit it, and he's got it right on track. Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. Well, hello there. That's an eagle.
Might be languishing in the middle of the pack, but at least celebrate that.
Frank, on this backside at Quail Hollow, a player does have a good chance to get off to a good start with that par 5 10th and now relatively short par 4 11th, where a player with a good drive could stick a short iron in their hands.
Yeah, this is one you're going to have to make a decision. You can just play this as a straightforward dogleg left par 4 and hit a 3-wood or a long iron up there and 9-iron or something like that into the green. Or, if you want to, you can try and blast a drive around the corner. I don't know if that's the more prudent play, but it's fun.
Well, this one is offline just a bit. Look out. That one is going to end up in the rough. You have to think he'll be happy with that, given that it looked like it was headed right for the rough.
Yeah, it looked like that was the only place it was going to finish. But, well, it's a little bit unexplainable. Let's see what he does from here now. Lucky break. Safely on deck.
On the green and looking at a birdie opportunity. Birdie putt coming up. Had a par on this hole yesterday.
A few more birdies like that, Rich. You never know, just might sneak place on the podium.
In the top 10 right now. Here we are now at the 12th, and Frank, this is a beautiful but dangerous hole, par 4.
It is in a number of ways. The hole bends gently to the right, which you'd think would favor a nice little fade, but the fairway just seems to shrink up. I've seen this fairway missed by so many good players. And plus its yardage, 450 odd. You can't really lay back too far, otherwise you've got too long for your second shot.
Good strike, good lie, good chance to attack the pin. Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Frank, this one's offline.
There's rough and thick stuff over there.
Wow, lucky break right there, Frank.
Well, that's what everyone else is going to say, except him.
Locked in on the read and the speed. Wow, he got robbed, Frank.
No, it's like kissing your mother-in-law.
Nudge this one home, finish it up. That is a solid par putt. Now to the par 3 13th hole. Frank, this one 210 yards.
Very, very good par 3. This is actually a big green. It's 37 yards deep, but it actually plays small. Has a front right portion, there's a roll-off area in the middle, and there's a roll-off area in the back. So don't be deceived by the size of this green. You better be pitching that tee shot right bang in the middle.
Knocks it up on the green. It is about 28 feet away from the hole. And it's a long way to the hole from here. Never easy. You couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it. And he has it.
A good putt redeems all.
Wow, Frank, this is a really good little par 4, isn't it, the 14th?
It is, and this is where one of those strong 3-woods comes in. The last 50 or 60 yards as the ball kicks down and towards the left, and it sounds like an aggressive play, but like a hard 3-wood trying to run it down there is actually not a bad play.
Is it drivable?
It is drivable, but it's whether it's worth the risk.
That one is bunker bound, it looks like. Well, the tee shot has landed in the bunker. All right, in the bunker now. And great execution. Right out of the bunker and right next to the hole. Made par yesterday. This one for birdie. Yet another birdie and on the march, 7 under for the tournament. Now as we arrive at the par 5 15th hole here at Quail Hollow, 577 yards. Frank, I think a player has to be thinking about doing what Rory McIlroy did in 2010.
It's the last of the holes that you can really be aggressive on, Rich. So a good drive down here. I'm well aware of the fact that there's water on the left. This is a good chance to make something happen before you play the green mile.
And that's what McIlroy did. Hit a tracer, then a 5-iron, knocked it in for eagle, shot 62, and won for the first time on the PGA Tour. Well, Frank, this is always a critical moment in the round. The 15th, the second shot to the par 5. What's your best advice?
Well, I'd actually look at the green first. You can see there's so many undulations, humps, and hollows on this green. So when you look now at that second shot, you realize it's got to be hit up very, very quickly and land in whichever specific section that you're trying to hit at.
Well, at least he can draw on the experience from the previous hole. Again, in the bunker. You know how to play this shot, Frank, right? You keep your chin up, you look down your nose at the ball, you have to pick it cleanly, and keep your head still. Birdie try up next. This for another birdie on this hole on the week. So one shot closer to the lead with that birdie. Good third round, Frank, and a good spot heading to the final 18.
Yeah, to be in the top 5 right now, the caliber of this field, know that your game is good enough too, and a legitimate chance of taking home the trophy come tomorrow night. This really is what all those hours on the range contribute to this moment right now.
coverage coming your way is presented by EA Sports and the PGA Tour. Thanks for joining us here today in Charlotte, North Carolina for the final round of the Wells Fargo Championship. Frank, what do we have out here today?
Well, if history has a chance of repeating itself, remember those great closing rounds by Rory McIlroy, that 62, that was one of the best rounds ever shot that year back in 2010. And, of course, that playoff, too. Ricky Fowler back in 2012. We actually beat out then world number one Rory McIlroy with that stunning drive down the finishing hole and brilliant wedge to a tight flag. This golf course, it can give it, it can take it away. But for us, from where we're sitting, Rich, we'll enjoy the view today.
No doubt about it. And now the second shot here at this par 5. Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
Early part of this back nine and a good approach shot. Now we'll have this for birdie. See if he can get something going here. 2 straight birdies. Don't leave it short. Wow. And getting ready for the putt. That's a solid par. Still in it, Frank. Now to the par 4 11. Frank, what do you think of this hole?
It's an interesting hole, Rich, and I'm curious to see how aggressive players will play here today. The easy way, obviously, is just hit it down the right side and set up a nice second shot with a short iron. Or the most fun way is to take the big stick out and try and bite off as much of that corner as you choose. But be prepared to pay the price should it not come off.
Nothing to argue about there, right in the fairway. Frank, what's your thinking here on this approach shot at the 11th?
Rich, this is another one. You have to favor the high side, which is the right side of this par 4. And if the flag's in the back corner, just be careful because everything slopes away from you off the back left of the green.
Appears to be what they call a commercial play. Very solid. Well, that's how you play the game right there. Knock it on the green and give yourself a good look at birdie.
It's no snack, though.
Came to the putt, excited to make birdie. Now, settle for par.
Yeah, a little change in the attitude right now. When you've let one go, you've got to really knuckle down there and make sure you don't drop a shot. It's important that this one goes in.
He'll take par and move on. Par 4-12 here at Quail Hollow, 456 yards. Frank, break it down for us.
Well, there's no fairway bunkers either side, so you feel like there's nothing to work the ball off, and consequently, it's very easy to sneak it in the rough on the left or the right, and then that makes that second shot so much more difficult going up the hill. This is one hole that you have to pick a line on. You really have to know you line off the tee. There's a nice big tree down there. in the distance. That's the one you want to work it off.
Frank, we always say about Quail Hollow, you have to play with a clear head. You have to be thinking your way around this golf course. So what's the right thought process on this second shot?
Keep the ball in the right section. That front portion there, you can't afford to go long when the flag's there. Conversely, when the flag's in the back, you can't afford to be putting up and over that ridge. So you've got to be flying that ball all the way back there.
Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. Almost. Wow.
Just a fraction too aggressive. Remember, line and speed go together.
Sometimes you want that birdie so badly, and all of a sudden you're faced with a lot of work, more work than you had hoped for, just to make the par.
Well read.
Here we are at the par 3, 13th hole. It's 210 yards. What does it take here, Frank?
It's one actually where you'd rather be conservative than aggressive here. And the reason why is this green tends to roll off at the back and the front and the middle there. So just something that pitches more in the central part of the green is really what's required. There's a bunker over there.
I think he's headed for it. Sometimes you get breaks, and he got one right there.
Yeah, I guess the bunker was a little smaller than I thought it was. That looked doomed for that.
How do you like that? He's holding. Just a phenomenal play right there. And now we come to the really interesting 345-yard par 4 14th. Frank, I'm thinking that if you're leading, you're probably not going to try to drive this and take on the risk with the water on the left. But if you're behind, you have a chance to make up some ground.
Yeah, I have it written in my yardage book, Rich, on this hole. Only good and bad things happen with a driver. Nothing in between.
Well, that one didn't work out. It didn't look bad in the air. It hit the green, but didn't sit.
Yeah, it was never going to stop.
Settles in, looking to knock it in tight. Frankie's cranking it and banking it. Giant drives, a boatload of birdies. What a round.
Yeah, these are the days you just dream for. We know golf's not that easy, but on a day like today, savor it and just keep going. Keep doing it.
Frank, they threw him a life vest. He's back on dry land.
And I hope this time he swings, he doesn't have the water wings on.
Playing his fourth shot after the third was wet. Frank, this is one you don't practice, but sometimes you have to do it. Time for the drop.
Yeah, it should be the easiest shot in golf. You've just paid for it.
Solid play, heart of the green. Just a tap in to finish the hole. Well, too bad. He gives one back. Now at the par 5, 15th hole, 577 yards. Frank, you remember what Rory McIlroy did here in 2010, that final round, 62?
I certainly do, Rich. That was an amazing run on the second 9. And holes like this, too. He just stood up here with a driver and just obliterated it down there with a nice draw. Took those bunkers out of play and just set up a mid-iron.
That is a fantastic long shot.
There's no way he could hit that without a tail breeze. Surely that breeze had to help there.
Playing his second shot here at the par 5.
In the direction of the sand.
Looks like it. Getting set for this next shot from the rough, what does the player need to be careful of here, Frank?
Well, this is where we're going to see exactly how good they are because, that's not exactly the best lie, but it's sort of doable if you know what you're doing. I mean, this skill, and that was sublime.
Just good hands, coming out of the rough, able to manage the distance, and now in great position. Good birdie right there, moving to third place on the leaderboard. At last, we have arrived at the start of one of the most daunting finishing stretches in all of golf. They call it the Green Mile, 16, 17, and 18 here at Quail Hollow. The 16th is a par 4, 508 yards, Frank.
And this hole was made even more difficult when they pushed that green further left to bring the water more in play with the second shot. I mean, it's a great par 4. It's strong in every single department.
Wow, that is a monster drive down there, about 315 yards. Setting up in the fairway, 200 yards to where that hole is cut. Well, this one should be safely on deck here. That will be a great look at birdie. Birdie try again here today. Had a nice birdie on this hole yesterday.
Just moving that much closer to the leader now, Rich.
Frank, the 17th here at Quail Hollow. It is all you want.
And a bit more, actually. The only advantage the player has, it plays a little bit downhill. But when you look at the lake in front of you, if there's any swirling breeze out there, it just becomes a nightmare trying to choose the right club. It was almost like that's what he wanted to do, but why would you want it to run over the back?
Frank, in golf, as we know, there's short grass and there's long grass. We all want to be in that short grass, but it doesn't always work out that way. So what's the most important element from the shot, from the rough?
You have to be a little bit more conservative first and foremost, because you can't guarantee a perfect strike out of the long grass. So therefore you have to look around the greens, maybe short, to the right, to the left, and realize what's involved, and also just give yourself a slightly bigger target.
Pressure is on to make birdies. Pars just aren't going to get it done, Frank.
Going to have to start aiming at some more flag sticks.
Now to the finishing hole here at Quail Hollow. Frank, what can we expect?
If there was a name for this hole, Rich, it should be called Narrows. The creek that meanders its way down the left side and actually divides that hole into really half the size of what a normal par 4 should be. That makes it hard. The bunker on the right is your bailout area, just over 290 yards to get past that, and then the narrowest green that still sits up against the lake. This is just a brutal finish.
Frank, just into that first cut.
Yeah, it's sitting up. Really, this isn't too bad a situation.
Great way to finish off the final approach shot with a birdie opportunity. See if he can go one better than yesterday when he made par. This putt for birdie. Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. Frank, you've been there. Good spot to be.
Yeah, second place, just on the heels, moving forward. Game looks in good shape.
NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live opening round coverage of the Players. Welcome once again to TPC Sawgrass for the Players. This is Rich Lerner alongside Frank Novelo, set to bring you all the action. And Frank, the 17th hole is always the place to be during this great championship.
It certainly is, Rich. The energy, as we know, each and every year has just been electric at 17, and I don't expect it to be any different today.
Here now, the 12th hole at the TPC Sawgrass. It's a 358-yard par 4, so short on the card, Frank, but obviously a challenge. What's the key here?
Once again, trying to find that right position on the fairway, and that's down the right side. Anything down the left, that mound is going to block your view. Oh, that's it. New member of the 300-yard club.
Good poke right there. Now the approach to the 12th, Frank. What's the player looking at?
Well, it's a fun shot here for the second shot, especially if you've driven it down the right side, because then you can see the flag no matter where it is on the green.
That is an excellent play right there. The approach, giving him another good look. Not a gimme, but well within his range. Once considered the best PGA teaching pro in the country, our featured golfer makes birdie and now sits comfortably inside the cut line. Let's go down now to hole number 13. Frank, how would you assess this first round performance from our featured golfer?
I'd say commercial, solid, very professional. If this is the worst round they score all week, it's not such a bad round. Whoop, this is taken off on a weird line.
And it's going to be in the rough, it looks like. Into the thick stuff, that's a difficult lie. Set to go, not an easy shot by any means. Coming out of the rough and right up next to the hole. Locked in on the read and the speed. Frank, you can see by the reaction, it has been that kind of week. Just a few too many pars. All right, Frank, this one gets everybody's attention. The 14th, 481 yards, par 4.
It's not just the length of this hole. Water down the left, mounds to the right. This is it. You got to buckle up here. Tee it up. This has to be your best swing.
Beautiful looking shot right here. Now it's right in his wheelhouse. Good position where he can attack the pin.
Yeah, he has all those options now. That ball's sitting up. You can bring it in high. You can bring it in low. The choice is yours.
Appears to be what they call a commercial play. Very solid. Midway through this back nine, could use this birdie here at the 14th.
It's at sneaky distance.
Well, the time is now to start making birdies, and there we go. One on the board, and suddenly inside the top 20.
Yeah, nothing to be ashamed of in that, but really, you've got to be aggressive from here on in.
right where they were aiming, in the fairway. Getting set now for the approach at the 15th.
Yeah, good-looking second shot here, but you've got to be precise. Hardly a flat spot on this green.
Birdie try up next. And it's a long way to the hole from here. Never easy. Frank, that's not one you're necessarily thinking about making.
No. Just a good putt, though. There's no two ways about that. He's putting well.
This putt for par. With authority, count it as a par and 2 under. Don't forget, second round coverage coming your way tomorrow here on EA Sports. For our entire crew, I'm Rich Lerner saying so long for now. NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live second-round coverage of the Players. Good strike, good lie, good chance to attack the pin. Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
Seems to like it. Headed for the fat part of the green. Wow, Frank, he is dialed in.
Yeah, that was just some shot on that. Easy birdie.
Par yesterday. Now for birdie. Frank, how much does that birdie help the cause?
Well, it doesn't look like much right now, Rich. Just sneaking inside the top 20. But at the end of the day, that might be the one that turned the tide.
Excellent looking shot here. Excellent start off the tee. That's a great way to begin this hole. Frank, you've been there. What's the best way to approach this next shot at the 7th hole?
There's a lot of mounding on this 7th green, to the right and the left. You can use those mounds to kick the ball to the flag.
And to generate some momentum here at the 7th hole. This for birdie. Frank going for 2 in a row now. Never quite had enough oomph on that.
Yeah, sort of a wishy-washy stroke.
And getting ready for the putt. Good effort and good par putt. Frank, 17 here at TPC Sawgrass gets all the attention when you look at the par 3s, justifiably so. But number 8 is a daunting challenge in its own right.
It is, longest of the 4 par 3s, plus it's just littered with bunkers around the side, the back, and the front.
No problems there. Really good approach shot. And now, good look at birdie.
It's no snack, though.
Frankie took plenty of time on this birdie putt. He looked at it from 3 different angles. He forgot one very important ingredient.
Yeah, pace. You can definitely fall in love with the line, even with approach shots as well, but obviously we see it more on putting.
And he has it.
A good putt redeems all.
Frank, what do you make of the final hole here on the front side, the 583-yard par 5 ninth?
Just depends on how much you want to risk here. If you hit a good drive down the right side, it's certainly gettable for 2. But you can make an absolute mess here at 9.
That is a fantastic long shot.
There's no way he could hit that without a tail breeze. Surely that breeze had to help there.
Okay, the second shot now at this par 5. Frank, I think that's going to the bunker.
Looks like it.
Into the tall cabbage. That ball is swallowed up.
Remember, out of the rough. Expect the ball to jump forward a little bit.
Well, that's what the great ones do. From the rough, they use their skill and their strength to get it out and get it close. See if he can go one better than yesterday when he made par. This putt for birdie.
That might go unnoticed, Rich, but that birdie just sneak inside the top 15.
Well, that was a nearly flawless performance on the front side, but Frank, we know it's an 18-hole game, isn't it?
That's right. Now's not the time to pat yourself on the back. Tom Weiskopf was one of my idols growing up. I loved the way he swung. That swing right there reminds me of my idol.
And it looks like Rory McIlroy, Frank, sticking the follow-through. Frank, where's the difficulty on this approach here at the 10th?
It's really the shape of this green. That little front piece, you have to be right on the money there. And then, of course, that green starts to open up and then move to the right. Well, there's a big green, and they're going to use every inch of it.
That is a Gorgeous shot inside of 5 feet. This one just requires a little bit of focus. And with the birdie, moves into the top 10 on the leaderboard.
And moves into some very good company.
2 rounds in the books, Frank, and a good spot from which to make a move.
Yeah, well positioned. Really, if you're leading, it's a different pressure. Being in the chaser pack there, playing well, what a great position to go into with 2 rounds to go.
NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live third-round coverage of the Players. There really is nothing like it in golf. The stadium course at TPC Sawgrass, home to the Players Championship. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. And what a golf course, Frank. And obviously the most famous hole is that little island, par 3, 17th. And it's the ultimate hold-your-breath moment. When that ball is airborne on a Sunday afternoon, you don't know. Wet or dry, victory or agonizing defeat.
It's certainly a great temptress. And it's fitting in this golf course that was created for 2 reasons by Pete Dye. It was created to be a cliffhanger of sorts and to test the great players of the world. And, of course, it was built with natural viewing in mind. So it's the perfect stadium venue for this championship.
That appeared to be a good strike right there, Frank.
Oh, good. It's just towering. Look at that hanging in the sky. Long and straight.
That's how you do it. Frank couldn't ask for anything more.
Just the lie there, too. It is sitting up like it's teed up.
17 for most professionals, Frank, is a wedge or at most a 9-iron. That's a simple shot. What makes it so difficult?
Well, several things. The fact that the color of the hazard is yellow, which is a water hazard. So if you know your rules, then if that ball lands on the green and pitches in the lake, you have to go to a drop zone. You don't get to just drop it on a piece of land. And so even for the best players in the world, there's intimidation and there's embarrassment at stake.
You know what I love about 17? It is really simple. Wet or dry, and on Sunday afternoon late, win or lose. Well, there's an opportunity wasted.
Just knock it in for a par, and let's forget about this one. Golf is not about perfect, but it is going to hurt the cause.
Always take that. Good par putt right there. Now to the 5th. This long par 4 thought to be one of the most difficult holes on the front side here at the TPC Sawgrass.
If you've got plenty of length in the bag, you can almost take it directly over the bunker on the right. But if you're not as long, you have to air down that left side.
Frank, the beauty of golf, we're not playing inside a dome with no wind. You have to be able to handle the elements.
You do, and that's really where the better player comes through. On a day like today, anything around par is going to be a good score, so just adjust your own mental par.
That one is in the fairway, down there about 290 yards. Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Well, that is an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's a formality now.
Made a par in his previous round. This time, it's for birdie.
All things pointed to a good week. Birdie there, very important right now.
Playing some good golf. Hole number 6, I really like this hole, Frank. It's fun par 4.
Yeah, very claustrophobic tee shot, heading through that chute to the fairway. Starts to open up and then it sort of shrinks in again because of all the palm trees around this green. But very short par 4, so if you're good with a wedge, good chance for 3. Game's about rhythm. When you have good rhythm, it just looks effortless. To hit the ball 300 yards through the air, that easy.
Frank, this is a way to make golf easy when you can hit it that deep.
Oh, I'm going to say, I know that first number's a 3. I'm guessing the second one's a 2. Let's call it 320.
This one looks like it's headed right for the middle of the dance floor, Frank.
Rather nice shot, I would say.
That's a beautiful shot, and that sets him up for a really easy putt. Frank going for another birdie here.
Just to get on a real roll.
Can't make it, Frank, if you don't hit it.
Hubert Green once said, 99% of putts left short don't go in. I don't know what happened to the other 1%, but...
A makeable putt right here. He is currently sitting at 1 under par. Good roll. Solid. That's a par. Frank's 7th hole here at TPC Sawgrass. How do you break this one down?
Not overly long, 440 yards, but once again, it's a tee shot. If you're driving the ball well, that's fine. You just sort of blister it down there, but you're starting to lose one a little bit to the right. There's 3 pot bunkers there, and of course, if you're fearful of it going left, there's the canal all the way down the left side that'll get your attention. There's always advantage of hitting it further than most, Rich, and straighter than most. When you put the two together, it's just straight up a head start.
Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
So a chance for birdie after another solid approach shot. This for another birdie on this hole on the week. So that was a medium-length putt. The speed was right on track, but the read wasn't where it needed to be. He needs this for par. Solid par right there.
They're doing a good job. Nothing wrong with being in the top 10 right now. I don't know if they can win from there.
Don't forget the final round comes your way tomorrow. For our entire crew, so long for now. NBC Golf Channel on EA Sports, in association with the PGA Tour, proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live final round coverage of the Players. Hello again and welcome. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo, coming to you from one of the game's most famous venues, the TPC Sawgrass, home to the Players.
And home of the Players too. The PGA Tour professionals that play the tour, they basically run and own this wonderful venue. It is their championship, and it's one that each one of those players playing here this week would want to win. It might not be considered a major, but the Players, it is their championship.
And look out, this could be wet, Frank.
It's heading...
Might need some wings just to clear this hazard.
That water is looking rather intimidating.
NBC Golf Channel on EA association with the PGA Tour proudly presents the season-long race for the FedEx Cup. Today, it's live final round coverage of the Players.
This looks like it's going to find the target.
Frank, it hit the green, but just didn't have enough backspin.
Yeah, you wonder what he's thinking on that.
Second shot from the rough. It's on the way. Pretty good shot right there. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Filling it up today. Beautiful putt. Frank, 14 is so often a pivotal hole here at the TPC Sawgrass.
It is, Rich. And when you see a player hit two shots comfortably on this green, you think, what's all the problems about 14? But when you see someone stray left or stray right, you realize that 14 is a real bear.
Nice long tee shot there and a good lie, Frank. Frank, halfway home on maybe the toughest par 4 in the golf course.
Yeah, for some reason, for such a big green, it's always hard to get that second shot close.
Well, that's how you play the game right there. Knock it on the green and give yourself a good look at birdie.
No snack, though.
Just a little too much juice on that birdie putt, Frank.
It was bold. Very bold.
Work right there. He'll settle for par. Back to the TPC Sawgrass, the 15th hole. It's a par 4 as we make our way to this finishing stretch. And Frank, what's in store for the Players here?
Another one of those par 4s around 450 yards. Ideally, hit a tee shot down the right side, keeping it away from that bunker. But that's a flat bunker down the right with no lip, so it's still not too bad. The biggest problem here is that green. So many undulations on this green.
He has given this one the full treatment. Perfect release through the ball, and this shot is on the fairway, over 300 yards. Getting set now for the approach at the 15th.
Yeah, good-looking second shot here, but you've got to be precise. Hardly a flat spot on this green.
Seems to like it. Headed for the fat part of the green. So at the 15th, he'll be tested after that approach shot with some 30 feet on this putt.
Even par currently.
Well, that would have been a bonus had it gone in, but still, reasonable chance for par here.
Yeah, there's no damage. You're not going to birdie every hole.
Not a problem from there, right in the middle. Now the start of the gauntlet, 16, 17, and 18. Par 5, 16. Frank, Tiger made birdie here all 4 days in winning in 2013.
Fred Couples made that fantastic eagle many years ago. Hole bends a little to the player's left. You don't have to hit driver here if you're a long hitter, but you really must move that ball right to left.
Frank, he is one of the longest hitters in the game, but at some point you have to hit a fairway.
Yeah, he's certainly not the straightest. I think that was the bit you're going to put in the middle.
He's hit the green here at the 16th, but he's not yet hit this putt. It is a long one, about 30 feet away, and it'll test him. Long putt here. This will require a good touch. That was not a very good read right there. Birdie putt coming up. Had a par on this hole yesterday. Yet another birdie and on the march, 7 under for the tournament. Frank, just 137 yards on the card, but now the tricky winds come into play, making this a tough proposition.
It's a weird place on the golf course because you feel the breeze when you're coming down 16 and you look across, and if you feel like it's a cross breeze, you imagine that breeze should be the same. But there's like a bowl effect because of the fans behind and to the left side of 17. It almost creates that sort of turbulent air, and you never really know if you've got it right. Hazard?
Maybe wet. Hoping to get this up and down here, Frank, at the par 3 after missing the green.
Yeah, it's not all bad.
Well, this is always one of the toughest moments in any round. You've made a mistake, you hit it OB, you're disappointed, but you have to regroup, you have to focus, and try to get this next one in play. So playing the third shot right now after having gone OB. Good swing, good shot yet again. That is an excellent play right there. The approach, giving him another good look. Locked in on the read and the speed.